That's rock too.
Hell yeah, that's rocking.
What's one key play? Mm-mm. But how do I stop it? Like that?
I guess.
Okay.
I'm no expert on the Casio.
This is my new role.
I started recording already.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. That's embarrassing. I freak out because I think Instagram is a 1984 Casio keyboard. All right.
We're back with for some reason, another episode of this podcast, and losing steam as it is, we're bringing in the Casio to help liven things up.
Yeah, we've officially made, how many episodes? 15?
Those are posted.
Yeah. 15 posted episodes, and we've now started to kind of tell people about it, which is getting interesting.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I posted about it. And even today I got this message on Facebook Messenger from a fan. You know, a fan. They said, hey, I like your podcast. And I was like, why?
Yeah. Who is this liar?
Yeah, it's Kyle from Gal. I thought he had taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with, he's also in fucking the
Exposed
best band
as Rot.
ever, Exposed as Rot, which
Yeah.
are playing on Sunday, Connecticut. Also played Rapid Decay Fest.
And if you're listening to this now, that show happened at least 4 months ago.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think, right now, they're my favorite new band.
They're pretty awesome.
It was Sulfuric Cautery until I saw Exposed as Rot, which, yeah, favorite new band. But I still love Sulfuric Cautery.
Which is why you're here.
Why I'm here in Philly to see them with a great lineup: Girth, Whore Abortion, and Covered in Sores. I specifically did not listen to Whore Abortion nor Covered in Sores.
I don't think Whore Abortion has recorded material.
Oh, well, I mean, even if they did, I wouldn't have listened to them because I'm fucking lazy. But also, I want the element of surprise. Like, when you don't... that was... Oh! Yeah, I got all the fucking tricks right now. I wanted the element of surprise, like, when you don't know anything about a movie, and then you see it, and you're like, fuck, that was good.
Green Room?
Yeah, or...
Did you not know it? Did
really
you know
bad.
what that was about?
No! Okay, so... I watched this movie. I actually watched this movie, or I put this movie on 2 nights ago called Green Room, which came out several years ago, so I'm sure everyone listening has heard about it.
Yeah.
And I promptly fell asleep within about 3 minutes because I had taken some NyQuil. I'm getting over a bit of a cold. And I thought from the first 3 minutes and from the title that it was going to be about a band that just travels around and what that looks like and living the tour life, seeing the backs of venues, but never getting to see the city that you're actually, how it's, everyone thinks touring so glamorous and it's
hey,
really
we've
not.
got a Fugazi sticker on our van.
Yeah, we're cool. And it was not like that at all.
It starts out like that to lull you into a false sense of security.
Yeah, that movie was amazing.
I have to wonder what the average person who sees that, because he can't have just made a movie just for people in indie touring bands and punk bands, because that's a very small audience to try and market a movie to. So what's the average person's takeaway from that movie?
Yeah, I don't know. We looked him up, the director, I guess, and he looks like a total normie.
Yeah.
And I mean, that movie was extremely relatable to me and John and anyone that's listening to this.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell, some of the actors looked really familiar. Obviously there's maybe from Arrested Development, but otherwise it was wait, have I seen that guy at shows, or is he in this other thing I watched? Because it was so appropriate. It was fucking nuts. Not to give anything away, but skinheads suck. Yeah. Nazis suck.
Yeah.
I don't like skinheads
Hot,
either.
it's a hot take. Nazis suck.
Yeah. Forever.
Are you prepared to defend that statement?
Yes, right. And we're back. So, Rapid Decay Fest. We went, we saw, we listened, we conquered. It's John's favorite fest.
Yep.
And it's definitely one of the highlight shows of the year for myself.
How many shows did you go to?
Well, I booked 2.
So
Did I go to those? I don't know. I went to a handful of shows in 2018. I would say at least like 15.
Okay.
Maybe more. 20 probably.
I say that as if I go to a lot of shows and you don't, but that's not the case. You probably go to more shows than I go to.
Yeah, but I don't really attend them. Like I went to see Intensive Care recently because shout out Andy Nolan is like one of the best people ever.
Yeah, he's great. He stayed here and he was a delight.
A delight.
Yeah.
Did I tell the story of our meeting on this podcast yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, so how I met Andy Nolan. I was living in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was at a show. I had already been like internet pen pals with Andy, like talking about music back when he was in
Shank or something.
No, after Shank. I'm not that old. Sorry, Andy.
Endless Blockade.
Endless Blockade,
Okay.
yeah. And so Andy was coming through Cleveland. I think Brutal Knights were playing from Toronto, and he, lives in Toronto, and he's like, "Oh, I'm coming to Cleveland. Let's meet up or whatever. And I have this record for you." And I was like, "Cool." So we meet in person finally at this show at Now That's Class. It was a Boulder show, and Boulder is one of my all-time favorite guilty pleasures. It's so good, just like Motorhead worship, but they do it better. Sorry guys, everyone who's listening who loves Motorhead. That's like our biggest fan base, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, so I am fucking going crazy during Boulder, and I'm wasted per usual at this time in my life especially, and I'm rocking out so hard, and I proceed to vomit all over the front of my clothing. Like literally just wet goopy vomit down the front of my shirt, like onto my shoes during the set. And Andy's standing next to me, having just met me in person and like only corresponding with me through, text essentially and emails, because I don't think we had text messaging at this time really. And he doesn't know my vibe or my personality, and he just looks and he's just like, "Hey, do you want me to help you get to the bathroom?" And I said, "Yeah, after this set." And I just continue to fucking rock out for the rest of the set. And he told me that at that moment he knew we were going to be friends forever because I was such a scumbag.
Yeah, you continue to be a trash person. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. He's just like, "Forever, you'll be my friend." So that was great. So anyway, I went to see his band recently. He put me on the list. It was so nice. He gave me a drink ticket. It was so kind. I missed his set. I showed up late.
It's a habit of yours.
I hung out for a little while, talked to him, hugged him, got my like small dose of Andy that I always crave for more, and then proceeded to leave and not watch any of the other bands. It was with the Body in uniform, and that's not of interest to me. There was a noise set happening with someone who makes all of their own instruments, but not
still
relatable.
As we've discussed, not our thing.
Yeah, totally. So, not sure where I was going with that.
It was a good aside. It's a lot more interesting than my story of first talking to him. We played with the Endless Blockade, well, sort of. We played this show like years ago. Chris used to do these Memorial Day shows, like with all the like bands that I would have any interest of that were playing Death Fest.
I like how you're just like, Chris used to do these Memorial Day shows, which is how everyone should remember it. But like a lot of people are like totally like ripping off Maryland Death Fest, man. It's just like whatever. Like
I don't care.
I thought it was great. Yeah. I mean, I actually could never go to them because I had to drive back to Cleveland and like work and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But
anyway, so he used to like get all the bands that like I would have any interest in to do a show the day after Death Fest. And the one year we played, and it was a killer lineup. I wish I could remember it all offhand, but like as per usual in Baltimore at the time, a bunch of, travelers brought some unwanted attention to the show, and the show ended up getting shut down. And like it was like midway through, so like Endless Blockade and like Rotten Sound and a few others like hadn't got to play yet, and they were kind of like debating on like, well, what are we gonna try and do? Should we try and find another venue for it? And like it got to be like an hour of like uncertainty, and I was just like, well, I'm not gonna like hang around Baltimore. I got work tomorrow. I'm not gonna like hang out here on the off chance that they get this sorted out and play. And so we left, and then like Monica and her sister and Dan stayed down and like while they figured it out, and then like they were like, yeah, we got to watch the Endless Blockade play at the Charm City Art Space, which is like the size of this studio, and
wow.
They were just like, it was great. They played for like 15 minutes and it was one of the best sets I've ever seen. I was like, son of a bitch.
Well, this seems to happen to you a lot. You just wanting to like get on the road and be bored, like at Rapid Decay Fest, which is apparently your favorite thing.
Yeah,
I've never seen so much joy. Like,
yeah, I'm telling
like. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yet you left early.
Yeah, I wanted to get home by like 2.
All right. I see.
Yeah,
Well, so Ferret Cottery were amazing.
Well, I figured I'd see him again soon, and here we are.
Here we are. Watch They Can't Play Tonight or something.
Ugh.
Yeah. Or they became like overnight famous since they got that write-up in the Washington Post. The grindcore outfit sold Ferret Cottery. Oh my gosh, that was great. I wonder if that got any additional attendees for the show. It's a great article or buzz bit.
I have to wonder, like, how do you go about getting a like normal person into this? Is it possible?
I don't know. We should ask the director of the Green Room.
Hey, gonna come hang out at the Shit Grind show and see what your takeaway is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are like people that you wouldn't expect to be into grind that happen to pop up, like at Ralph's table that time, which I spoke to you about at Rapid Decay.
Oh, fucking this story! I want to believe it, but I almost can't. Apparently, Ralph from Haunted Hotel sold some fucking lymphatic phlegm.
Yes,
records
two records
to Andre 3000 of Outkast
at a punk show in New York City with Matt's Grave playing and High Cost and other bands.
So, here's my story about Ralph. So recently Ralph was at St. Vitus Bar in Brooklyn, New York, and he set up his Haunted Hotel distro and record label, and I'm there as well, and he's like,
of course you are, because how else would you know?
Yeah, well, he told me this, so
okay.
Maybe he would tell me, I don't know, on the phone or something.
Okay.
Because we're both over 35 and speak on the phone.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, this guy comes up and Ralph and I were talking about, how we don't really recognize people at shows. Everyone's kind of like a brown-haired man in a black t-shirt with like a scratchy logo on it.
Yeah.
So we're like, I don't know. But he's like, I wouldn't have recognized this person if it wasn't for their voice. So this guy comes up and he's like, oh, cool records. And Ralph is like kind of leaping through and maybe putting some away. And he scrolls by Lymphatic Phlegm.
Okay.
You know that band? It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
a gore grind band. Yeah. And the guy goes, what's that? And he's like, Lymphatic Phlegm. And he's like, oh man, I'll take it. And so he buys the record, and then he buys the split with Catasexual Urge Motivation.
Yeah.
And Ralph registers that it's Andre 3000 from Outkast.
The amount that I believe this.
Okay, we can go talk to Ralph because he's here
This is...
at Rapid Decay Fest 2018 because this will come out in 2019. Yo, Ralph.
What's up?
Hey, we're recording.
You sold a gore grind record to Andre 3000. True or false?
Truth.
I still don't believe it, but cool.
Two gore grind records.
2 lymphatic phlegm records.
2 lymphatic phlegm records to Andre 3000. All right.
It's true.
Yeah, it happened.
It happened.
When we finally get that Outkast reunion, we'll see what Andre's looking like. If he's like rocking
Andre
like.
comes out with with a pitch shifter vocal. Yeah. You know why?
Yes. Hey, yeah,
Wow.
remix.
That's
Didn't
fucking
happen.
I'm into it.
wow. Okay. Wow. It's one of those things that's magical enough I want to believe it, but I just don't know if it's true.
Yeah. I can't vouch for it because even though I was there, I didn't
Yeah,
see
you
him
weren't.
like everything else. But I've heard other stories since finding this out from friends about like, oh yeah, I heard he was in the Chicago show or like whatever, and like so I guess.
I mean, I feel like I maybe saw like a picture years ago of like him in a Minor Threat shirt or something.
Yeah, but like everybody has a minor threat shirt.
That's
I mean,
what
there was a
mean.
minor
The
threat shirt in the green room.
movie,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, that's not that special.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ian, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Because I know you are. Did I tell you about that time that I saw Fugazi in 1998?
No.
Yeah, that was crazy. And my friend Nick, who lives in Ridgewood, Queens, where I live, he was in that band Hull. I don't know if you remember them from New York. Whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, cool guy. Does like guitar setups. Is in some other bands that I can't pronounce.
Mm-hmm.
And posted this picture on Instagram of this Fugazi ticket from 1998, the Fireside in Orlando. And I was like, dude,
That's
I
where
was
I was
at
at.
that show. I have that ticket stub too. That's crazy. Crazy.
1998.
Small world.
You know what I was doing in 1998? Being in 6th grade.
Oh, that's tiny. I mean, I was 16, so it was like in 8th grade.
16? I mean, maybe in Florida.
I held back. What's? I don't do math after one.
16, you should be close to finishing
I
high
was
school.
barefoot pregnant.
Down in Ochi, Florida.